My name is Al McRae. I am the market president for Bank of America here in Atlanta, and I've been with the company for over 18 years. I grew up basically here in Atlanta. I went to college here in Atlanta, let me say, so I've been here for over 20 years. So I call this home.
All right, so where did you go to college? Let's start there.
Georgia State University.
Right. So are you happy about to see like the developments with Georgia State since you've been here and coming back to this area?
Yeah, I love it, right? So, as you know, Georgia State now has a new president, Brian Blake. Brian is a good friend of mine, I like to say. He's very impressive, and just everything that Georgia State has accomplished as an organization or institution here in Atlanta. Well, we have so many fabulous educational institutions, as you know, to see the accolades and see the growth of Georgia State and just how they've evolved since I was in school. I don't want to date myself and tell you how long that's been. But let's just say there's been a lot of change.
Right.
There's been buildings that have been knocked down and new ones that have been built. And their footprint has grown significantly. And so the transition from the school of being more of a commuter school to now a school that has such a big on-campus presence, something I've enjoyed. And then the sports, right? The sports aspect of Georgia State and their accomplishments and on a number of different fields and courts. I've enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm a proud alum.
Proud Panther. So for you to say that you've been with this company, Bank of America, for 18 years, do you want to kind of summarize how that went about, how you started, why you stayed, what you see within the company at this time?
Yeah, so just kind of dating back to my days at Georgia State, I fell in love with finance as a topic and as a subject, and then later as an industry. And quite frankly, I was coming out of school at a time where the economy wasn't the best. But fortunately, Bank of America was recruiting for a new program that was spearheaded by one of my predecessors, Jerry Thomas, who's a great mentor and friend of mine, also a Georgia State alum. And I was fortunate enough to get into that program. And so it was basically teaching me the basics of finance, right, and banking. Deposits, savings accounts, credit cards, mortgages. And I worked in the financial center, but also had the opportunity to work in other areas of the bank and see other lines of business and how they operated. And so one of the attractions that I had during that experience was working with the private wealth group. And so I applied for a role within the investment group as a kind of a support associate. Fortunate enough, got it and got in and just completely fell in love with the investment management industry and private wealth. And so I was fortunate in that I was continuously pushed and challenged, and I was able to grow within the organization to the point where I was asked to be in leadership, which quite frankly wasn't in my plan, right? I didn't necessarily sketch out that I wanted to be in leadership, but I found a voice in leadership where I really enjoyed the opportunity to affect not just my own personal growth and my own performance, but the performance of others, right? So there's a coaching aspect of it, there's a counseling and an advisory and a mentoring aspect of leadership that I completely fell in love with. And so because Bank of America continued to feed that, it continued to encourage me. They put me through development programs, gave me a lot of opportunities and network within the company. That's what kind of led to me, basically staying, right, and continue to grow my career there, grow my professional accomplishments there, and then ultimately cumulated to where I am today, as sitting here as the president of the bank here in the market.
Right, the Atlanta market president at that. Let's point that out for Bank of America.
That's right.
So congratulations again on that. We haven't formally given you that in person, but just kind of share within your development and growth in Bank of America, and now that you are the market president, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to doing in the Atlanta communities?
So, within this role, and I really have a fortune of being at the head of the organization when you talk about representation in the community and what we're doing here. So I'll break it down into the three pillars of what my role really encompasses when I think about my responsibilities. Right. So first, in my responsibilities as it relates to our clients, and so we have 8 lines of business within the organization. They serve people, companies, and institutions. And so I get the opportunity to work with leadership across those lines of business as they execute on delivering for those clients and those customers. And so, I would be remiss without mentioning what's been happening over the last 2 years when it comes to the pandemic and the role that that we've played in the community as it relates to our clients. Because I think, and this is the values and this is the philosophy of the organization, you can't have a successful company if you don't have successful clients and you don't have successful teammates. And so one of the things that we extended ourselves in doing, particularly during the pandemic over the last 2 years, was supporting our clients. And so not just executing at the best of our abilities and delivering world-class customer service and products. That also meant that we should be supportive of them. So a couple of things that we did, for instance, is our overdraft and non-sufficient fund fee policy, which we've changed, right?
And that's been a huge issue for a lot of consumers.
Exactly. So think about the pandemic and the impact that it had, not just on everyone, but particularly for those communities that were already at a disadvantage when it comes to economic opportunity. So the pandemic had a disproportionate impact there. So for us, we were a leader in delivering PPP loans. And the large majority of those were to small businesses, businesses that are sole proprietors that maybe had one or two employees. But if you take that and you multiply it across the number of loans that we did during that time, it was over 3.7 million employees.
Wow.
Where we, essentially those loans help save jobs, and they save businesses and companies and people's livelihoods, their houses, their access to health care. And I mentioned the fees and how we reimagine how we would structure accounts so that we can help our clients be better financial stewards and say, all right, we took a 97% hit on revenue from those fees, but it's the right thing to do, and it's the responsible thing to do. So I think it's a great example of delivering on the power of the and, when you say you can be a great company from a performance standpoint, and you can do good in the community.
Okay.
So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is around our teammates and our colleagues, right? So to be a successful company, you definitely have to deliver for those colleagues. And for us, we recently was ranked 29 out of 100. This is recent as of, I think yesterday I saw the announcement by Great Places to Work in Fortune magazine. So Bank of America was listed there. And a few of the reasons has to do a lot with our diversity. When you look at our team structure and the diverse nature of it, over 50% of our associates are women. 49% of our associates are people of color. And even here in Atlanta, that breaks down to representation of the population and how we have both Black associates, Latino, Asian, and women associates. So diversity is something that our associates completely value, and it's something that we value as an organization.
And representation matters.
Representation definitely matters, right? When you think about, I'll tell people you can't be what you can't see. So that diversity not just happens throughout the organization, but also at the leadership ranks in our board of directors. We are a leader in pay equity and thinking about raising minimum wages. So right now our minimum wage is $21 an hour, and we have a goal 25 by 25 that we'll be at $25 an hour by 2025. And once again, we're leading in the industry. So it's something that we're very proud of when we say we want to support our teammates. And we've hired over 10,000 associates in low to moderate income communities. We're 2 years ahead of that plan, and we're going to do another 10,000 by 2025. So if you think about it, not only are we increasing our hiring in these communities, but we're giving them wages well above the living wages. And the conversation around minimum wages that we're having nationally, Bank of America is a leader there. And then our benefit programs, right? So supporting of parents. We've won a number of awards when it comes to being a great place to work for mothers, for fathers. And it's really around how we structure our benefit programs so that our associates understand that we want everyone to have the opportunity to take care of themselves and their family, and as well as come to work and be successful. So that's the colleague piece. And then lastly, our community piece, which I'm thoroughly satisfied and happy to participate in, because for me, being a representative of the bank here in Atlanta, a city that I've been in over 20 years, has been very rewarding, right? So 2021, over $18 million in support to over 75 local nonprofits that we were able to impact.
That's amazing.
And so, us and being a part of this community from a standpoint of advancing and addressing some of the challenges, particularly as it relates to racial equality and economic opportunity, has been something that we truly have been in. And we've been involved in this, quite frankly, we've been here over 100 years, but we've really amped up that message here as of late, after the death of George Floyd, over 2 years ago. So For us, that's where it lies. Is that we want successful clients, we want successful colleagues, and we want successful communities. That's the only way we're going to have a successful company.